All right, we're starting here with Timbers GM Ned Grabavoy. Go ahead, Ned.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for being here. Just quickly would like to address the most recent transfer window before jumping into questions. I think for us as a club, overall, we are pleased both with the plan that we had in place and then what we were able to accomplish within that. We believe the decisions and the additions that we've made as a club, give us great balance both in what we're trying to build and sustain in the longer term, but with a clear focus and attention to the immediate, which for us, we still believe that we can accomplish things this season, and we'll look to strengthen and hopefully pick up the results to do so. So overall, I would say that we're pleased, and we'll just open it up from there.
With the Acosta signing, how much emphasis do you put on prior MLS experience, something the Timbers haven't really had in recruitment seasons past? Obviously, Eric Miller this year and now Acosta, the only two outfield players with prior MLS experience on a different team. Is that something you've looked into more this season, or is that kind of just a coincidence?
I would say I think we have put a more of a focus going into this year just on trying to be a bit more active, in the internal market. That's one part of it, but I think with this specific signing, when you look at the injuries we've had in the midfield and the timing of those injuries, to ask Christian Prentice and Diego Char to play the amount of minutes that they have over the last 10 or 15 games, it's been a challenge for us to make it to this point in the season. Trying to add a player of that quality, that experience was clear for us that we needed to do so. We wanted to try and achieve that within the league, and the timing of this and someone that's been around and played in big games, I think we're very happy with that addition right now, and I think Brian's going to fit in great.
Have you had to turn down any purchase offers for any players that are currently on the squad during this window?
We have actually. We had to turn down a sizable offer for Christian Prentice. Quite honestly, it's one that made a lot of sense for both the club and for the player. But sort of going back to what was said previously, that's a position in which we've been hit by injuries and missing two quality players almost all season, in Eric Williamson and David Ayala. And so I think for us as a club, and trying to manage how do we still accomplish things this year, and trying to strengthen the group, it was a difficult decision to ultimately turn that down. I can't speak high enough about Christian. He's an incredible person. He's a great professional. I know that the opportunity there for him is something that probably would have been attractive. But at the same time, I think Christian's been a great player for us this season. And as we go forward, will continue to be a very important part of us making a push for the playoffs.
You mentioned with the Anthony signing, he's been on your radar for a while. Can you kind of take us back on that timeline when he first came on the radar? And what are the hurdles for just getting him over from Portugal and his native country, Brazil, to now Portland?
Yeah, I think in that position, we were looking for a profile that gave us a different set of attributes. And I think when you look at some of the players that we've brought in over the last couple of years, whether it's a Santiago Moreno, whether it's an Evander, Yimi Char, I think all these players are so good when they have the ball at their feet and can open up the game, through their vision and their passing ability. And Anthony's really a player that can hurt you in a different way. He's constantly looking to run in behind. He's constantly looking to cause issues with his verticality and getting behind the back line. And so for us, we feel like we're sort of adding another tool to the belt, to give the coach a different option. I think he's a player in this league, and a league that's played in transition a lot of times as well. He can be dangerous to opponents in open spaces. So I think we're happy with the profile that we were looking to find, and then ultimately finding a player that fits that, and gives us that certain look and a different dynamic.
Going to an attacker on the team front, bully, second on the team in goals, obviously a great signing so far. It's not a short-term deal. Is there any emphasis on tying him down a little bit longer here in Portland?
Yeah, I think when we first made the acquisition earlier in the year, it had to be something that we weren't tied to past this season, that had nothing to do with the player or the level of player that we were looking to bring in, more to just do with the uncertainty of Felipe Moore's health, and allowing him the ability to return and hopefully be able to show that he's healthy again and he can play at a high level. He's doing that right now and hopefully continues to do so. I think everyone in the club is extremely happy for Felipe, in his return to the field. He's very important both on and off the field and in the locker room. I think in Frank's situation now, in my opinion, he's been a strong addition to the group and can play a solid role here. I think in the near future we'll look to explore that to see if it's possible to keep him here at the club. because I do think he's had a positive impact overall.
More questions for Ned in the room?
Between the two transfer windows, do you think there was one? What's the difference between the two from your perspective? Obviously, the European windows open at a different point than the in-season window for you. Do you find yourself having tougher decisions to make in one window or another? Is it easier for MLS clubs to perform in one window or another?
So just to clarify the question between the difference of the off-season winter window versus this
which,
window?
Which one do you think is more difficult to get deals done?
I think the way that the windows time up, MLS is probably at a disadvantage in the summer window because of the timing of other international windows and trying to get players in. I do think you've probably seen a trend and a big uptick in the activity throughout the league. You know, and the summer window being a window that MLS teams are making more additions and decisions, I do think that's healthy, you know, for the league overall. And I think you're probably finding more of a balance now where, you know, it might be 60% of the work is done in the off season, another 40% is done in season. But I think, you know, the level of ambition of all clubs has gone up, and as scouting departments get built out and resources exist, I think you're going to continue to see teams in MLS be more and more active in this window.
Any more in the room? No? Jill, we can go to online questions now?
Right, if you are online and have a question for Ned, please use the raise hand feature. Going once, going twice. All right, I don't think we have any questions online.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up there.